Hi, Jules Yates here with Remax Bayshore Properties. Let's do a quick video here on determining value if you are a seller. Real simple, basically whatever you want for the property plus commission, stick a sign out front and there's your price. Actually, I'm just kidding. It's a great question. It's an easier discussion when we're talking about value with a buyer than it is with a seller. Unfortunately, most sellers have this feeling that their property by far is superior to every other property that's on the market. Uh, I don't mean to be facetious when I say that, but the reality of it is most sellers tend to have a difficult time grasping the reality of value on a property. And here's the reason. You put a lot of time, you put a lot of effort, you do your landscaping, you do your painting, you make it look clean as could be, and then they compare it to some property down the road that is for a fact isn't as good a condition. Here's the issue. When it comes to valuing a property, it is boils down to an appraisal. And an appraisal these days, and I say since the crash here a few years ago, there's some different guidelines now that in 2015 are different than they were in 2007. For example, appraisers now tend to be picked randomly in some cases. They're not chosen by the lender. So you go apply for a mortgage, a random appraiser comes up, and it turns out, like any other profession, there are some that graduated at the head of their class, and there are others that didn't. Well, you may not be getting the summa cum laude of appraisers, and you get someone in that maybe is less experienced than someone else. They go in, and what are they going to do? They're going to do what any real estate agent technically is capable of doing, and that is look up what properties that are the similar bedrooms, baths, square footage, and typically they want to stay within a certain radius. And I'm gonna say that distance is a couple miles at the most. Generally, the closer the comps or comparables, and we use the term comps, the closer the comps are to the subject property, the better that the weight they're given as far as comparable value. Your appraiser is specially trained in giving adjustments. They will adjust for extra bath, a garage, um, remodel a kitchen, things like that. But the reality of it is, your appraiser is not going into these houses and actually comparing them to yours, although they have to walk through yours and take photos. So it's really truly going to boil down to the bedrooms, bath, square footage, condition, and photos. That's really what they're going to base it on. So if you have a two-bedroom, one bath on the first level with a full basement and three more bedrooms, they're not comparing that with a five-bedroom house. They're comparing it with a two-bedroom with three additional lower-level bedrooms. And lower-level square footage is always discounted. It is not the same value as main level or above grade square footage. Main level, of course, same level as the ground outside. If you have a walkout, that's still considered below grade because half of it is still below the grade. And then above second story square footage is also treated differently. So they each have their individual value, and the appraiser is supposed to be trained to know how to calculate those numbers. So anyway, that's just a little bit about how values are determined. But in the end, what you want for your property, what you need to get out of it in order to accomplish your goal, really has no relevance to market value at all. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the comps are going to be the way to go, and we are very capable of providing you some good comparables. If you want a dead accurate, I should say more accurate, or what is supposed to be more accurate evaluation, then we would always suggest you hire an appraiser. So, oh, let me touch on one other little thing. What is the difference between a market appraisal and an appraisal when you have a purchase agreement? Typically, it seems if you have a purchase agreement, which the appraiser will be provided a copy of, they will tend to find properties to justify your purchase price because your purchase agreement is going to be the next comp, meaning it shows willingness of a buyer. It's treated the similar way to an actual purchase, even though they haven't closed yet. If you go get a market appraisal and ask an appraiser, just give me the value of my property, they're going to do what's called a market evaluation. That market valuation is going to be based on market conditions. So they tend not to be quite as high, and I'm not going to say it's significantly lower, but they tend not to be as high as they would if you had a purchase agreement to support your offer. So don't be upset if it comes in a little lower if you order an independent market appraisal, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call myself or my team, 231-941-4500. Thank you.